we can put things together. Eleni's saying she's got hers as well. So today we are going to be playing with lovely Everbloom cabochons. So sort of going down on the trail of spring and blooming and flowery trees. I love these ones because inside these cabochons there are real white lace flowers, and they dyed them. When I found the factory who was making this, I was so happy because it's so easy to encase these. They're just really, you know, you almost start on the cabochon straight away. It's a netting, so it's quite a quick make as well, maybe 30-40 minutes, and you got a beautiful pendant. Now Simon has given us kits today, which I'm very quickly going to show you. And let me just get to that window. There we go. So I'm just going to very quickly share my screen with you. So here we go. So when you go onto the website, you know the drill now. Categories, video tutorials, and then we're going to find today's. Here is Everbloom cabochons. Now we have got the we have put kits together. Now these kits come with one bag of size 11, one bag of size 8, and one bag of size 15 seed beads, and that's what you need to make up a cabochon, and it comes with one cabochon as well. However, in the kit, in each one of the kit, there is enough beads to probably bead around another 2 cabochons. So if you get any of the kits, have a look at the other cabochon, excuse me, where you go on the website that you can add into it, because like for example that blue down here, this Everbloom cabochon large flower one, will go very nicely with the blue pendant kit as well. So in this kit you're gonna have enough materials to encase another 1 or 2 cabochons, but I just want to point that out, so you can add an extra one in there. I also added the stainless steel chains to the page because I love using them, and then once you make the pendant up, it's a perfect way for you to like start enjoying and wearing your jewelry. Right, shall we go down and I'll show you the samples quickly, and then I'm hoping my camera setup is gonna all right and you're gonna have sound. Right, I think we got sound. I can see the sound bar going, so we should be fine. Let me just pop myself in a corner there. There we go. So we have created, I haven't got the purple colorway here. We have created 6 different colors. Now, before we used to do these before, and I sort of put 2 colors together. Like for example, this teal was together with the navy blue, and then you would have only the navy blue in the kit. And when I was looking at it a couple of weeks ago and thinking about it, I'm thinking like with that teal, I really want more like teal seed beads. The blue looks very nice with it, but the teal looks even better. So I added a brown iris with the this really nice white lace ones. I added, and you can, this is the thing, you can wear it either this way or you can wear it that way where the flowers at the front. I did crystal with the pink one. I think that just looks really nice. I did try it with pink seed beads, but it was like kind of losing, it was like a little bit too much of a color. And we added olive to this really nice green tree as well. I wanted to add a darker color of seed beads, so like compensate for the brightness of the flowers, and it just really come together very nicely. So I'm going to show you how to make these cabochons, how to encase them, and then like, you know, very easily you will be able to do your own thing and encase them. You can mix and match the colors if you like. You can do all sorts of different things. And my computer just turned off. He said no. And I don't know, this morning I just want to get to this week. We need to get to this week. Middle of March we are now, so hoping for better weather as well. It said there might be 9 degrees. Mine gets up to 9 degrees this morning, which would be really nice. The sky, I did show in the countdown time, and I'm very quickly just gonna pop the sky outside. Look, it's pretty dull. It's bright-ish, but pretty dull. So no walks for us today. We're gonna have to stay in and bead. Right, okay, so I got demo set up in different stages, so we very quickly can go through this one, and you don't have to listen to me waffling on all day. We're going to start with size 8 seed beads. So we're going to start with the larger seed beads, and those seed beads are going to sit in the ridge of the cabochon. Now, each one of those cabochons has got a ridge inside them. Let me just grab this blue one. So they double-sided, and they are double-sided because they take two cabochons, two flat back cabochons, and they add this really nice the flowers and the tree inside it as well. Then they glue the cabochons together, and that's how we get this really nice double-sided cabochons. Now, what I love about it, that this ridge you get in the middle where the two cabochon meets, you get this lovely, lovely ridge. And when you start to make up your pendant, your size 8 seed beads are just going to sit in that ridge. So therefore, I can't we're gonna go over the top of it and just add some smaller beads to really tighten them up, but they're not gonna move anywhere. So it's a really nice and easy start to, like, if you've never done any cabochons before. Linda is saying, oh, OMG, these are lovely. I've had them before, so I had to order them again. Loads fell in my basket. Oh, bless you. They are really nice, and they are really nice and easy presents as well. Right, okay, so you're going to start with 55, and I've just lost my needle. So I'm just going to very quickly grab a needle and add it to the end of my thread. So you're going to start with the size 8 seed beads. We're going to start with the larger seed beads and work our way down to size 15. So the size 8 is going to sit in that ridge. We're going to do the front or the back of the pendant. Doesn't really matter which side you do first. And then we're going to do the bail on the top. So 55 seed beads. And this is quite important because, like, when you're doing netting, you are working in a units of X amount of seed beads. So here we're working with the units of 5 seed beads. Now, if you had different size cabochons, and perhaps you can only have 32 seed beads on there because the cabochon is smaller, then you're going to work in units of 4. So it's always sort of working in units around. So here we're working 11 units around. Once we get started, it's going to make sense to you. 11 units around our cabochon, so we need 55. And I'm just going to zoom in so you can really see what I'm doing. There we go. So you're going to start with 55 of these seed beads, and then you're going to go through all of those seed beads again from the tail end to form a nice and firm circle. Now, usually I don't like to knot my end and beginning together, but in this case I will, because I want a really nice and firm base. And once we knot the beginning and the end together, I'm just going through the beads, but once we knot the beginning and end together, we're going to knot it onto the cabochon, and it's going to stay on there, and then we can work on the cabochon. And that's the beauty of it, something like this, that you can work on the cabochon pretty much from step 3 and you got something to hold on to. There we go. I'm almost through. I like to work with longer needles when I'm doing something like this and I have to go through a lot of beads. There we go. So I got right to the beginning, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to knot. I'm just going to move this camera slightly a little bit because it's a little bit far away from me. And I keep reaching up on the table. So I'm just going to knot the beginning and end together. I'm going to do one knot, just like that. Then I'm going to do another. And then I'm going to take my cabochon. If you can knot it right on your cabochon, or you can knot it separately. I'm going to take my cabochon and add this on the top of it, just like that. And it's just going to be really, like, I can force it off, but it's just going to sit there really, really nicely. So I'm going to go through a few more beads because I like to work away from my tail. And I'm going to start adding my size 11 seed beads. It does actually looks really nice just like this. So if you wanted to have your cabochon and just do one round of beads around it, which I have done. I can't remember what I've done with the sample. I think I've given it away, but I have done this before. I had done it with pearls and I've done it with seed beads as well. So I just wanted to add one row of seed beads around it, or pearls, one row of beads. I did the same thing. So I've worked out how many exactly I need to add around it. Size it seed beads was 55. Pearl was, I think, slightly less. Maybe it was 52, as I remember it. And then I didn't want to add, I made a bail on the top, but I didn't want to add the netting. I really wanted to leave the cabochon open. And in that case, what I did is I added a little bit of glue into the ridge, and I glued these seed beads on the top of it, so definitely they would not move. The cabochon wouldn't fall out of it. So you could do that as well. On the other hand, I do like to do the netting, because that's like, glue can fail you. And of course, like, your thread can snap as well, but this is a much secure way to hold your cabochon inside there. So as you're coming out of a bead, it doesn't matter which bead you're coming out, and it doesn't matter what part of the cabochon you are, because we're going to go around and we're going to add our beads now. So we're going to add units of 5. So I'm just coming out of that size seed bead there. I'm going to pick up 5 of my size 11 seed beads. So I've gone down in size. I'm going to miss 4 seed beads in front of me and go through the 5th one, just like that. And when I pull this up, you can see those 5 seed beads, they're just going to sit on the top, just like that. And then I'm going to go along and I'm going to repeat this again. So I'm going to pick up 5 seed beads. 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I'm going to miss 4 in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And go through the 5th one. And pull this through. If it pops up, your 8 mil size 8 seed beads pops up, it's not a problem. Just pop it back on your cabochon. Put it back, that's it, and then keep on going. So a trick to not to pull your, or reduce the risk of pulling your seed beads or your oval off of the cabochon, is when you're adding your beads, and I'm going to show you the angle that I often I often forget myself. Like, when you do different projects, you want to pull different ways. So if you, for example, when you're using bicones, you always want to pull against the bicone itself, and then when you're doing something like this, again, you want to pull like the same way as the whole of the bead. So if I'm pulling it this way, upwards or sidewards, I'm pulling it tight, but at the same time I will be pulling this off. If I'm pulling against like that, and I can pull as hard as I can, this is not going to flip off. This is not going to come off at all, because I'm pulling in the right direction. So do have a do sort of think about it when you're doing different projects, like especially like if you're working with bugle beads, and bugle beads sometimes can cut your thread. You really want to pull your thread tight, like in the same direction as the hole sitting in the beads. And here as well. So you're going to go do this until you get all the way around. Now I got the one here, which I done earlier. I'm just going to grab that one. Come on. I got one here where I went all the way around and added all of those 5 seed beads. Now because we got 11 units here, and if you think like you want one right at the top, it doesn't really matter, because quite easily by holding the cabochon between your index finger and thumb, and holding the beads in your other hand, in an index finger and thumb, you can twirl this around later on as well. So don't have to be worrying about it so much. So all of my size 11s are added onto here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start adding my size 15 seed beads. I do like to leave the bobbin, by the way, on the, or leave a really long tail, because then I can come back and take more thread off later on if it's needed. So once you added those 5 groups of 5 size 11 seed beads all the way around, you're ready to add your size 15s. Let me just take the size 11s out. I'm just going to pop some of those there. Actually, just get a few more. So I woven my thread around. So this was the last segment, the last 5 seed beads I added. I went through the bead I need to go through. Then I went through the first loop, and I'm going through the first 3 seed beads I have added. This is the first ever loop. So I'm coming through always the middle seed bead just right there. And then we're going to pick up our size 15 seed beads and go through the next middle seed bead on our next loop. So 7 size 15 seed bead you need to pick up. 4, 5, 6, 7. And as I'm coming at the middle seed bead of this loop, I'm going to jump to the next loop and go to the middle one there. So when I pull that tight, those size 15s just going to sit on the top and just sort of slightly coming in, slightly hugging my cabochon. Then I'm going to pick up another 7 and so on until you get all the way around, adding 7 size 15 seed beads, like reduce the size again. So we started with size 8 and then we progressed on to size 11. Then now we are working with size 15s to making them smaller as they're coming to the front of the cabochons, and always going through that middle seed bead there, just like that. So when you get all the way around, I'm gonna have to do this because the sample I set up, it's not very quickly gonna have to run around with this one. I try to set up as much as I can because like sometimes talking and doing samples at the same time, it can be hard. Like you miss a number or you add an extra number. Have I done one? No. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I have got one. One prepared. I thought I did, but it was hiding under. So once you go all the way around and added all those 7 little seed beads there, all is left to do to go run around the middle row. And I like to add 1 size 15 seed bead on the top of the size 11, just there all the way around as I go. So just to like see the size 15 seed bead and just tighten this up. And once you finished with one side, then you're going to progress onto and you're going to do the other side in exactly the same manner. And that's really how easy it is to encase your cabochon. I'm going to add my needle onto here and continue with this one. Oh no, I got so many threads on here. I really want it to be good. I didn't want to like sort of give you an hour and a half until the making like the front and the back. And I set up things in stages. So once you've finished your cabochon and once you finished one side, you're going to go on to the other side. Now it's really up to you when you start the other side that how you want your loops to sit. So I like them to sit symmetrical from front to the back. And when you do that, it's a little bit harder to go through the same seed bead because can you see the size 8 seed bead is pulled this way with the seed beads, and now we're gonna go and try to go the other side and pull them the other way, but I think it just gives you a nicer finish. Of course you can, and have I got one? I think I had one here, which I did it in separate places. So for example, instead of going through like the same one, just go through 2 more further, but then your netting is not mirrored from front to back. And I'm that sort of, I kind of have to have everything mirrored or have to have everything like, you know, symmetrical, I guess. That's the word. So as I'm coming out of this seed bead, which is the size 8 seed bead connected to the other loops, I'm going to go to the other side, and again I'm going to go through miss 4 and go through the 5th one and pull this up. And this time as I'm pulling it through, can you see these seed beads doesn't really want to sit right on the top here. As I'm pulling it through, they sort of going to sit lower. So every single time when I add a seed bead, I'm just pulling them to the top and just leaving them there. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up the next 5, 3, 4, 5. And again, I'm going to miss 4 and go through the 5th one. And I'm going to repeat the whole process on this side as well. Hold on, I got my thread tangled with the previous one. So I'm going to pull this one tight again. Oh no, Betty's saying she's broken her nose. I hope you get better soon, lovely. Right, next one. Again, I'm picking up 5 seed beads. And then I'm going to miss 4 and go through the 5th one. This time is kind of easier because you don't have to count the beads so much, because you can see from the ones before, the ones from the other side, of which size 8 seed bead you have to go through, which one you have to miss out, and which one you have to go through as well. And again, I'm going through the 5th one. I do can though. Like I do like silently can them. So what do you think? How was this netting around the cabochon? Was this easier or is it harder what you thought? Let me know in the comments, what do you think about it? While I'm running around and just adding this side of the cabochon on as well. Very quickly. Kieran is asking, can you buy backing membrane? This is not done on a backing fabric. This is netted around the cabochon itself. So I'm not using any of the embroidery fabrics, what sometimes you can use with cabochons. I am netting it around it. So we are creating a beadwork which is encasing the cabochon itself. So there is no backing fabric required for this one. There's so many different techniques you can make cabochons or encase cabochons. Joy saying nice and easy beading around the cabochon. This process seems much easier than the last. I'm checking, which one are you referring to? We did all sorts of different ones. We did last week, was it the week before? We did cabochons and that was peyote stitch. And this week is netting. I like netting because it just kind of speeds things up. And I'm almost all the way around. I've got another one to add, another one or two. And last one. And straight away, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go into the first loop I have created. And I want to make sure I'm coming out of the middle seed bead, which is the 3rd one. And when I'm adding the next row, which is the size 15 seed beads, that's when everything is going to get pulled together. Brenda is saying it's a simple way of encasing a cabochon. It is. And I have to say thank you to Brenda because she helped me to make some of the samples for today. So I'm so lucky I got you, Brenda. I know all the other ladies and Chef and Bernie and a lot of ladies around me who are like local to me. They do help out with samples. I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful for it as well. Because otherwise I would definitely have to give up sleep altogether to be able to do all these lives and TV shows and kits and USBs and all sorts of things. I got Alison as well, Linda, so many lovely ladies around me. I'm just very quickly going to run around and add the 7s. And this time I'm always adding 7 and going through that middle seed bead on the loop before. When I count seed beads, and I like when you have to count live and talk at the same time, what I do this little trick. So I don't count in. Do this little trick, and I think I just added 6 on there. So what I usually do is 1, 2, 6. Or is that right? Let's have a look. No, I need one more. So what I usually do is, as I'm moving along around the seed beads and I have to pick up an X and a number of seed beads, I don't look at the seed beads in a way that they are 7. I look at them in groups of 3 and 4, because when you pick up 3 seed beads, you look at your needle and you know you picked up 3 seed beads. And then when you pick up 4, I can see I picked up 4, and I can I know that I picked up 7 then. So anything like that, I always work to a units up to 5, because I think 5 you can still just about, like, very quickly looking at it, you can see that you have 5 seed beads on your needle when you're checking, when you're talking at the same time. I just picked up 5, so when I just look down on it, I can see that's 5, and then I pick up another 2. So that's how I kind of, when I talk at the same time I'm doing beading, is trying to sort of pay attention to how many beads I have to pick up. But of course, I sometimes do make mistakes as well. But just trying to count like that sometimes helps. Okay, I found it, but I had to go back on Facebook to do it. It's easy because of the ridge. This will work with others. So yes, this one has got a ridge. If you got other cabochons as well, the netting will work. However, you're gonna have to do the netting of the cabochon, at least until you have got like half of it done, and then you're gonna pop your cabochon in there and add the other side. The easy thing, like this is all, always say, like this is more like a beginner's kit, because like it's so easy to knit on, not knit, we're not knitting, we're stitching the beads. Oh, it's all fancy. I need a sip of my coffee, I think. So it's easy because from like step 3 you can work on the cabochon itself, so you got something solid to hold on to in your hand. Because often with beadwork, what hard is that until you, and especially encasing cabochons, until you actually add the cabochon inside, there's nothing to hold on to. It's not taking the right shape. It might be a little bit more oval, or like might flatten out, and then it's really hard to envision what you have to do and where you have to go on which seed bead you have to go through. But here, when you are working on the cabochon itself, pretty much straight away, it's quite easy because you are, you got something to hold on to, you got something solid in your hand. So something like this, if you've never done any encasing cabochons before, is perfect for you, because like you can get great results out of it straight away. And I just have to add one more after this, just like that. Just pulling it together. So I do often anything, any beadwork I do, I pop it down on my mat and just sort of mold the beads around my cabochon, just sort of double checking that they're sitting the right way. I'm constantly looking them. Five, and then 1, 2, and I'm going through the last one. So I'm going to go through the last middle seed bead, which is just here, and at the same time I'm going to take my needle through all 7 of the size 15, which was my first loop, and I'm going to pull this up nice and tight. And now all I want to do is just add 1 seed bead on the top of one size 15 seed bead on the top of the size 11s, and each time as I'm adding this seed bead in, this is what really tightens it, tightens your cabochon, tightens the beadwork around the cabochon at this stage. This is like the last row where you need to do it tighter and then pull everything together. And that's it. Every stitch I make, I pull it tight and I keep going around, and I'm only adding 1 seed bead and size 15, and then I'm going through the 7 seed beads, which is already on there. Lucy's saying beginners make, but looks very professional. I love this. I can sense the cabochon obsession about to happen. Yes, so this is the great thing about it, that because you got something to hold on to. And they are nice size pendants, so they're not too small. They're 30 by 40. They're nice size pendants. And as I said, one kit, which is like, I think they're down to £8.50-ish. Let me just double check that for you, that I'm giving the right information. Yeah, the £8.50, and from £10, this makes more than one cabochon. So just go and grab another cabochon, add an extra one in there, different color or different blue, or like for this blue, I would add this one in there because the same seed beads will go with both of the designs and they will look really, really great. So it's just up to you, but it will make about one kit. The amount of seed beads you get in one kit, you get one cabochon, but the amount of seed beads you get in one kit is enough for more than one cabochon, so just add an extra cabochon in there. I didn't want to, like we were talking about this with Simon the other day, that we could edit like 2 or 3 cabochons in the same kit, but I said maybe some people just only want to make one, so we wanted to give you the option that if you wanted to, you can go ahead and add extra on it, and it will still, you will have enough seed beads to do it. Right, I'm almost all the way around here. I'm pulling it tighter and tighter each time. By the way, the kits come with instructions as well. PDF, you can work from the PDF instruction if that's like it's fully illustrated, if that's easier for you. You can always come back to this page and the video will be embedded at the top and you can rewatch the tutorial itself. So I went all the way around and this is my last bead to add. And then I'm going to go right into the middle and I'm going to add my little bell. So now I encased on the back and on the front. My cabochon is encased and I love it because you can wear it this way or you can wear it that way. It's really up to you. Right, so what we need to do, it doesn't really matter sort of where you end up, and I'm gonna weave my thread into the middle here. So I'm gonna go into the seed bead, the size 11 seed bead, and down to the size 8 seed beads. And I just like, before I go and do the bail itself, I just like to run like a semicircle around the size 8 seed beads just to strengthen them a little bit, and then like the more you go through them, the more straighter they're gonna sit, and it's just sort of working away from where you finished your netting, just to give a little bit of slack for your thread so you have less of a tension on them if it was pulled, like if you pull the bail itself. Right, so I'm gonna get this in the right position. So I did say to you that you can hold this down with one thumb, and can you see I'm twisting the beadwork around with the other one because I want to get this to the top, because I'm going to add my bell right here at the top. So as I'm coming out of the size 8 seed bead there, I'm going to go back into my loop of the size 11s, and I want to come through that very middle seed bead there. And there's different ways to add obviously bails to pendants like this, and the different ways you can do, but this is, I find, like kind of the easiest to go into do like a peyote stitch bail. And again, you can like do different sizes. So I'm just coming through that middle seed bead there. I'm going to pick up 16 size 11 seed beads. If you wanted a bigger bail, you could go up to 18 or 20. If you wanted a smaller one, then like go down in size. For me, it has to be an even number, but for me 16 is sort of the right size visually for the pendant itself. And but it depends as well. So if you want to wear this on chunkier pendants, this you want to wear this pendant and chunky and necklaces, then you're going to have to make your bail bigger to be able to go on the the chunkier size cord. I'm just going to double check this. 6, 8, 10. That's brilliant. That's 16. So as I'm coming out of that seed bead on, like, let's say the front or back side, doesn't really matter, one side of my cabochon here, I'm going to take my needle and go through the middle seed beads. I'm coming out of this side, the middle seed bead on the other side, and pull this up nice and tight. So I just created a loop front to back. Now you could leave your, like, you could just have a little bell like that. You don't have to go on a full peyote stitch on it. You could just do that one. But what I like to do is to, from here, I'm going to go, just move this out of the way. From here, as I came through that size 11 seed bead on my netting, I'm just going to go through the first size 11 on the loop, turning my thread upwards, and then I'm going to start my peyote stitch. So as I'm coming out of this seed bead, I'm going to pick up another size 11. I'm going to miss one on this loop. Just hold this tighter so you can see it. I'm going to miss one on this loop and go through the second one. And when I pull this up nice and tight, come on, knot. There we go. These seed beads are sort of going to jump next to each other. These two seed beads, and they're going to sit side by side. Can you see they're sitting side by side? And then I'm going to go along. Have I got, hold on, if I stick my little pencil in there, you can see it better. Maybe this is a little bit too big, but they're going to sit side by side just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead, pick up another seed bead. I'm going to miss one again and go through the next one. Just like that, and pull this up and all the way around. Just need to pull this tighter because that pencil is a bit too fat. But you could, if you got a little crochet hook or something, you can like insert it in there just to get a tighter finish. And once you got to the other side, and I'm just very quickly gonna run down and show you, then you're gonna turn around and, like, you know, you can, again, you can leave it just like that. I like to add more rows, and I'm gonna add the rows side by side to have a really nice and tight finish until you get to as wide as you need to be or want to be. Don't forget, there is full illustrated instructions comes with the kit, and one kit is got one cabochon in there, but got more seed beads than what actually you need. So if you add a couple of extra cabochons in your basket with your kit, then you're able to make even more. So I'm down to adding my last one, and when I add this one, I'm just going to bring this in. This one is going to sit right at the bottom, so I'm going to go in, and I'm, instead of going through the middle one, I'm going to go through the one next door to it. Just pull this up nice and tight. Just like that. So they all, can you see they're all sitting side by side? And when I come back on my, excuse that, that's just the tail end there. And when I come back on myself, I'm going to fill this up. So I'm going to go through that first bead. Just that one. And then I'm going to start adding my size 11s again. And you're going to do that all the way back. And you can come back backwards and forwards as much as you want, widening this little strip, this little bail at the top. But it's up to you how thick you want to make it. If you want to, you can, once you've gone around, you can just leave it just like that, depending on. And if I put the one, where's the blue one? Like this is a little bit thicker one. And have I got one with more rows? No, this is the same amount of rows, but it's just a little bit bigger that way. There's so many different things you can do. So I'm going to run to the other side. Sort of going around my bill, trying to keep a tight tension, but this is why I like to do it side by side. sometimes. So I would add bead to one side of the bale, and when I get down to the bottom here, I would cross over to the other side. So I'm just adding the last bead in. Again, I'm going to come through that second one, not the middle one, towards the middle. I'm going to go through the middle, and I'm going to jump to the other side. So I'm going to go through this one. And now I'm going to go up on this side and add my beads all the way to the other side. And you're just going to do that backwards and forwards. Just make sure it's not twisted. You're going to do that backwards and forwards. You see how more I pull it tighter, the nicer and neater it's going to sit there. Just like that. If you wanted to, you could add another extra or 2 rows. You could make it even thicker and bulkier. It's really up to you. I do like to add, once I finished with this row, we can leave this a little bit thinner. I do like to add a size 15s, like a row of size 15s on either side, just to so you don't have this jaggedy edge, and the size 15 is just going to fill that gap. Oh, Lucy's saying she's using big eye needles. I know she loves them. Yeah, whatever we used to. I like these longer needles, but I do have a lot of, if I can pick one out, I do have a lot of these shorter needles, which these shorter needles are a little bit more sturdier, but I prefer the longer ones. Sometimes, depending on what project I'm on, sometimes I would work with those shorter ones, but my go-to needle is the longer one. But we're all different. We all have our favorites, I guess. They say you shouldn't have favorites, but we do. We got favorite needles, favorite beads, favorite colors. So right down to the other side, and again, so can you see now? I'm gonna go through just the last seed bead. So I'm not going to the middle or the one next door. I'm going through the 5th one on this side of that little loop we created when we are netting around the cabochon, and I'm going to come back on myself, and this time I'm going to be adding the size 15 seed bead just there. Let me just come the right way. So through that, and I'm going to come up and start adding the size 15 seed beads just there. And that's all there is to it. Like, you know, it's not, we are not trying to teach rocket science here, I guess. Beading, we are trying to sort of take the world by one bead at a time and stitching them together and creating these really lovely patterns. I love them because, like, you know, the possibilities and this, you can do so many different things. And I'm just adding a little row of size 15s here. You could do so many different things. You could use different colors. And I generally love like all the different colors and textures of beads. Different sizes, different shapes. There is so many different things you can do. So can you see now, like adding those size 15s in there is just making a nice, so I stick this back in, just making a nice and neater edge. But if you just leave the size 11s, and that's the risk to it. There's nothing else at all. We got so many. I'm just gonna go and show you the colors again, and just zoom out a little bit. So that's our blue, what we just did. Then, like, if you do buy this kit, pop this one in your basket because it's gonna look really, really nice. That's on the page as well. We have got the teal. We got this lovely, like, ivory color, and I added the brown, iris brown seed beads with it, and I think it just really frames it very nicely. And there is the blue. You got the pink, and with the pink one I added, because I like pink flowers, but if I would have added pink seed beads to go around this one, it might have been a little bit too much, a little bit too pink for me, but I would be quite happy to wear that because the pink is in there, but it's a little bit subtle. It's a little bit more subtle color than adding, like if I added more pink seed beads on the top of it. Like if I did something pink, that would be nice as well, like with pink seed beads. That's very similar color, in fact. But I'm more likely to wear something a bit more, I don't know, simple, not necessarily simple, like less of a color than something with more colors. And then we have got the green, and I love this one because, and I'm usually, this is so interesting because usually I'm not drawn to green, but out of all those pendants, and we have got the purple one as well. Let me just grab a purple pendant for you. I haven't got that one made up because we only had a few in stock, and Simon said you're not allowed to make one up. You have to leave it in the stock. So we got this purple one as well, but I'm so drawn to this green because that really light green tree, then with the olive green pendant, it just looks really nice. I don't know why, but usually I'm not, but this time it just, I think that's just so nature, that's so natural, and that looks really nice for me. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Do have a go at it. I'm around like in the handmade groups and everywhere if you got any questions to answer it. If you're not a part of the handmade group, then pop in there and do join it, because it's just a lot of like-minded people really trying to help each other out. I really do love it in there, and welcome you to our little beady family. Generally saying I like them all. It's so hard to choose over one or the other. Oh, I know. That's most of the time that is my problem as well. That what color do I need to choose, or what color do I want to make? Because there is just like so many different things you could do. Springtime colors in the green, definitely. I'm looking forward to spring so much at the moment. I just want nice weather and sunshine, and I think we all need like I don't know, maybe it's like a breath of fresh air, like walk outside and like be able to go on longer walks and not just like around the block very quickly because it's just about to rain. So I'm just really looking forward to a little bit better weather as well. Right, we have got something coming up in the Bead Club. So if you are not a member of the Bead Club, then do join it as well. Sue Picknell is going to hold a class next week, and she's going to be doing something different with these cabochons. The pictures are on the Bead Club website, so do check that one out if you are interested. You can join the Bead Club just as a one-off class, or you can join it like on a monthly basis as well. It's really up to you. What would you like to do? But she's going to be doing one of her gorgeous pendants and necklaces, and I know you all seen the pictures in the handmade group. She put them up before. So everybody have a lovely day. I am not tomorrow and Friday in the Bead Club, and we are bezeling cabochons, but we are doing different ones. So tomorrow in the Bead Club we are doing more, we're working with gemstones, and we're bezeling cabochons with seed beads and crystals. I was just like, I'm finishing this sample that night, so that's what we're doing there tomorrow. Saturday I may or may not do a creation station. We will see like how the week goes. I just got so much going on. Sunday morning I will be back with a Sunday beader, and I cannot wait to show you what this lady got in home for you. She's fantastic as well. Like all of the Sunday beaders are fantastic. Everybody's been so amazing, and I loved every single one of them. And then Sunday night I will be back with my chit chat, and then we'll be back to next week. The Sunday night chit chat is on my channel. So everybody have a lovely week. If I don't see you, if you need me, you can always find me in the handmade group or message me, and I'll see you very soon. Take care everybody. Bye.